Hi, welcome to Evolvingmale. So we're on part 2 of doing the active exhaust on the Dodge Challenger. We've already had the mid-mufflers taken off. You can see right here, mid-mufflers were here. Got cut here and here, put the pipe up in there and welded around, so that gave it a nice sturdy sound. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do the active exhaust delete. So the way this looks, this is one that's done. I did the first ones and struggled with it, trying to learn how to do it, which was pretty easy. A little confusing when you're all the little nuts and bolts and stuff, but I got it down. This is complete. So now we have one more to do on the driver's side. I'm going to show you guys how to do this.
Yeah.
So
well, this is going to be harder.
So as soon as I find all my tools, so this is pretty easy. Go up here. I'm going to take this plug off. This is probably the hardest part because it's a little pinchy thing. And if you got fat hands, like I got it. Take it off. All right, take that off. Move it up out of the way. Then come in here, a ratchet. Little ratchet. This is a I don't remember what size it is. 8mm. So 8mm socket. I'll take the socket off and remove this. There's only 3 nuts here you gotta take off. 1. Let's see, 2. Take that one off. And
You've been here an hour and 30 minutes, right?
yeah, I said it took a little while on the first one.
Hey, can I call you back?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll call you back in a few minutes. Bye.
Okay, that's fine.
That's when the phone rings, when you got a hot set. So, all right, so I got the three nuts off. We're just gonna pull this off. Be kind of careful because what you don't want to do is you don't want to rotate the spring in there and get the motor out of position. This black box is a tiny little electric motor, and you don't want to get that out of whack. So if you have a 2015, mid 2015 or older, you're going to get these little flat springs. If you have a 2016, or you did like I did and buy the springs with the 2, you're going to get a spring just a little bit taller. So you can see the difference there. The reason is because it's too far away and it kind of chews the plastic up on this. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this off. Get it about like that. We're just going to take this off. And we're going to put this one in its place. Goes in just like that. Okay, just like that. We're going to set this off to the side. And the next thing we're going to do is each one of these. This kit comes with the following parts. So it comes with a bunch of these little pieces. We are going to take. You're going to take these apart. I'm trying to do this systematically.
Yeah, you didn't really show us your fingers.
Sorry, you get these little parts. My fingers are too big fingers. So they're already put together when you get the kit. I've disassembled it partially, just playing with it, trying to figure it out. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to take a little bit of blue Loctite. Put a little bit of blue Loctite on there. And put on each one. Just a little dab will do you. And then we are going to put the nuts on here. These are not the original nuts. You don't want to drop it, but I found it. So the original nuts, you're going to take those and you're going to put them. You're not going to use them again. And then that's my buddy Tom, whose shop this is, scaring the piss out of me, quite literally. It hit my head, Tom. Nice try. So put that nut up there. You lowered something. You lowered my bowels. Okay, we're gonna put that in there, and we're gonna take our 8mm wrench. We're gonna tighten this down to I don't know how many pounds of torque. I'd say somewhere around 25.
Them are inch pounds.
Inch pounds. So.
And the small ones, inch pounds.
I'm not doing too much. Just a nice, good snug. Then we're going to take this piece again, and we're going to take we're going to take this off, and actually what I'm going to do first, before I take this apart, in the directions, you're supposed to have some lock washers that I didn't have. Well, thankfully I am at a buddy's shop and he has stuff I can steal, so I've taken, they say I put a lock washer in there, but when I assembled it the first time I didn't feel like there was enough room, and I'll show you what that means in a minute. But so I've taken a flat washer and a lock washer and putting them on. Flat washer to the inside, and then the lock washer. Just a little bit. All it's going to do is going to space it out a little bit further, and I'll explain it again, like I said, in a moment. You'll understand why I had the need for that. And I am missing. What did I do? Oh, there it is. All right, so I got a flat washer, lock washer. Now we're going to take this piece apart. This piece that came together in the kit, you're going to take this out. We're going to take all this apart. There's a nut, there is a flat washer, and then there's a well, that's a beveled lock washer, and then there's a flat washer. So this is a little confusing when it first came. It looked like a solid piece, and it was actually kind of tight when I was like, has to come apart. Didn't really come apart by hand at first, but after some playing around, I realized that it does come apart. So I'm going to unscrew this piece out almost all the way till it falls out, just about. And the reason I put the extra washer in here and the lock washer is because this went so far in, I was only able to get a couple threads in there, which kind of wonky and didn't seem like a good idea. So I don't know about you guys, but I don't like stuff falling apart while I'm driving down the road.
When you say this, what do you mean? Because you're holding like two things and it's hard to tell.
Okay, sorry. So this is just a threaded barrel essentially, right? And this is actually all we're gonna do is we're kind of using these as new threads. We're basically making an extended bolt. Well, when I put the threaded rod through there, it didn't have enough thread, so it kind of just wants to wobble. You got to have some thread so it actually has something to bite on. So I'm gonna put it right now. I'm gonna put it in a couple threads, and I'm gonna screw this all the way in. Screw that in all the way, and you can feel it bottom out. If you don't have that in there far enough, you'll feel it, and it's just not good. Don't like it at all. So I'm gonna get that on there, and I'm gonna turn that around so it's right. I'm gonna tighten it down nice and snug like. Put these other parts up here real quick. I'm gonna do the same thing on the rest of them. So you want to back this out, and you can see that one side is solid, the other side has a 2.5 millimeter Allen thread, head in there. So that has to be towards the outside, because we're going to have to tighten this down once it's in there. Run this out, do the same thing. You shouldn't have to force it, don't cross thread it. Tighten it up. Tighten that up, and I got one more to do. And honestly, once you figure out what you're doing, this is not a very hard job. Except for when people come around to try to scare the hell out of you.
Did you think it dropped on you?
No, I thought he blew something up. I thought it was terrorists or something. I don't know. To me, it sounded like a bottle popping or a bag popping. It didn't scare me though. It surprised me a little. Did I jump? I mean, if I jumped on camera, we'll find out.
Yeah, let's
This is
see.
all done. Okay, so now that's tight. So then, put that aside. Gonna get out your little 2.5 mil Allen wrench. And we're gonna run this. We're gonna run that down tight, nice and snug, and it already is. is, right? That one's loose, so that was the reason I wanted enough threads, because I'm still only getting probably 3 or 4 threads in there, and I would have got less than that without those washers back there. So they're going to tighten that up. So now all we've done is we've made this MacGyvered kind of extension of these of the bolts, right? So now we're going to take the MFER plate, right? And I just screwed up. So I screwed up. This is how you do it. I got 2 people watching me and I messed up. We're going to take this back off.
Hope you weren't following along.
If you're following along, we're going to back up. I'll cut it. I'm going to cut this.
And how come they don't want you taking these off? They don't do that.
Well, they're mufflers.
Pretty much straight open.
I don't know.
I guess make a different sound.
All right, so I'm going to cut that last part out. Maybe I'll put it in there. We're going to put our MFER plate in here. You can see where that little notch right there is where the old spring was that was laying in there, and when it turned, it would turn that. But we're going to put this plate in there. You want this sort of up where you could sort of read it. Line up the holes nice and easy. It's very tight fit. Then we are going to take a lock washer, put it in there, but I've taken a lock washer and a flat washer just to give me a little bit more spacing, okay? Because I feel like it needs a little bit more spacing than what it came with. We're only talking like a millimeter maybe, but it's a lot when the threads are small. Put that on there. I'm going to take our little standoffs, make sure it's all the way almost out completely. You can take it out completely if you feel like it, but whatever. Put it in there just enough to hold it, and I'm going to run that in, and I'm going to reapply some Loctite, because you may or may not have seen where I put this together a second ago incorrectly and moved all Loctite off. And then we're going to run this in there, and we're going to do the same thing times 3. Run them all up. Make sure it's squeezing that lock washer, because if you don't have this threaded rod out far enough, it'll tighten up. You'll think you got it in there, but it's not. It's not even touching.
What threaded rod?
This threaded rod right there.
You need to be left-handed.
I'm sorry. I'll learn how to use my left hand. That's a different video on another site. Tighten this down.
Great.
Tighten that
You got
down.
an inch-pound torque wrench if you want to do the inch-pound.
That's too technical. I don't know what it is actually supposed to be. It doesn't say on the directions. It just says tighten it up. All I know is if I tighten it too much, if I tighten it like I'm putting on a lug nut, I'm going to wrench it right off.
And I bought it just to do the oil pump. And bite. That's what it called for.
Handy. Oh, really? Well, that's a little different, right?
I don't know.
I'm messing with exhaust, not oil pumps, so I guess I'm...
It's about the same as what you just did.
All right, 2.5 millimeter Allen wrench. We're going to put it in the end of this threaded rod deal here, which is basically the extended bolt to hold everything together. Tighten it up. Seat of the pants torquing. Tighten that up. Okay. Now, we're almost done. There's these
Do
little...
you care if that Loctite's dripping down?
No, it's all right. So we got these little beveled washers. You want the bevel facing out, because that's where it's going to apply the pressure that way. Right?
I don't know what that means.
And
The number same on the motors?
Nope, this is left. So the motors are left and right. Interesting. What the hell did I do with the other beveled washer? There it is. So, alright, put that out. And I'm going to take this and very carefully, I'm going to stick it back in place. And you can see yep, and the spring is kind of pushing on me. That's all right. So then I'm going to take the new, I'm going to put a little bit of Loctite on these as well. Don't use the old hardware, use the new hardware. There's something different about it. And you paid for it, so you might as well use it.
It's the knurled nuts.
Huh?
The backside is knurled.
Oh yeah, the backside is knurled, so it's going to grab hold of that plastic. Just like the other side on that washer, it's going to grab that in there, that in there, then tighten her back up. Just like anything else, kind of walk it in, and pinch it sideways. It's important. You don't want that. You don't want anything in a bind in there. That was the purpose of having to buy the.
Does
the new
everybody know
Mopar
what
springs.
walk in means?
Well, like you would a tire, you want to tighten it up evenly, little at a time, till you get it in there, and then go back and torque it down. This is pretty easy. Honest to God, if you can get the car up in the air, if you're smart enough to get the car up in the air, you're smart enough to do this. This is not. This is something that pretty much anybody could probably do. The worst part about this is just don't monkey around on these bolts and try to break them. But you got to get them tight enough as well. That's the hardest part. Because nobody likes stuff falling apart while they drive down the road. There's a lot of vibration on the exhaust, especially the way this thing's going to sound. So, need to have it right. All right, that's it. We're going to find our plug. We're going to plug it back in. Boom. And that's it. We're going to start her up here in a minute, and it should make a huge difference. Be back in a second.
All right.
You need light or no?
I think I can see it pretty good. There we go. Go!
Huh? Don't scare him too bad. See, that doesn't feel good, does it? Oh, that's a washer. Ah, look what I just did.
You just broke it.
I broke it.
You just broke it.
I didn't even hardly tighten it. You